So you can't break this cycle with having boundaries with your adult children. So if you notice, as empathetic people, if you have a hard time setting boundaries with your adult children, a lot of times your relationship with your children, especially our sons, mirror the relationships that we have with our partners. So the cycle of an empath is you set boundaries, regardless of how wrong they are. You set boundaries, but then within 2 to 3 days, you feel guilt. The guilt kicks in. You renege on what boundaries you set. You start to feel guilty for whatever reason. You felt like it was too bad, too harsh. So you go back on it, and then you end up apologizing. They apologize or they say that they were sorry. Then you allow the thing to happen again and again and again, and it's a pattern. And I'm not saying don't love your children, because we do love our children, but the best thing that we can do for our adult children is set boundaries and stick to it. No, ain't no disrespect in the house no more. Ain't no disrespecting me or the other children in the household no more. And once you start to set boundaries, but you have to train your nervous system to not feel the guilt. This can apply to a coworker. It can apply to your parents. It can apply to a relationship. It can apply to a friendship. It just applies to anything that oversteps your boundaries. Any person that oversteps your boundaries. And us as nurturers have a hard time of saying no. But when we have a hard time of saying no, we actually help the cycle repeat. So you have to sit with yourself. You set your boundaries. Once you set your boundaries, you give it a couple hours, you give it a couple days, and then that guilt starts to kick in. It starts to come up. You sit with it. You nurture it. You love it. You tell your guilt, you allow it to be here. You consciously make the decision to allow the guilt to live inside of you. And once you share light on the fact that, yes, I'm feeling guilty, I don't know how to set boundaries, because when I set boundaries, it makes me think that I'm not loving the person. I'm not being respectful of their needs, but we can't keep holding on to this guilt. That's what continues the cycle. Allow that guilt to transform and transmute itself into love. Sit with that guilt, love that guilt, acknowledge that guilt, and the guilt goes away. And then you'll be able to stand firmly on your boundaries. And when you stand firmly on your boundaries, you're actually helping the other person to realize what they are doing wrong. Because if they're in the dark about what they're doing wrong, a lot of them are unconsciously making these